Welcome back, Agents of Wisdom. Some stories don't just whisper love, they scream destiny. And Ruth? She was willing to risk it all for a future she couldn't see. Ruth, chapter 2, verses 1 to 3. There was a relative of Naomi's husband, a man of great wealth, of the family of Elimelech. His name was Boaz. So Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, "Please let me go to the field and glean heads of grain after him, in whose sight I may find favor." And she said to her, "Go, my daughter." Then she left and went and gleaned in the field after the reapers, and she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz. The sun had not yet claimed the sky. Mist drifted low across the barley fields, curling around stalks as if reluctant to let go. Ruth, wrapped in quiet resolve, crossed the boundary into unfamiliar soil not her own, in a land that still whispered her name as stranger. Naomi had granted her blessing that morning. "Go, my daughter." Simple words, but behind them lay hunger, grief, and hope. She moved deliberately, stooping low, fingers sifting through barley, kissed by dawn. To an outsider, it was ordinary. But the heavens recognized the moment. Without knowing it, Ruth had wandered into the land of a man named Boaz, a man she had never met, a future she could not yet name. And though she came seeking scraps, destiny was already watching. Ruth chapter 2, verses 4 to 7. Now behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said to the reapers, "The Lord be with you." And they answered him, "The Lord bless you." Then Boaz said to his servant, who was in charge of the reapers, "Whose young woman is this?" So the servant who was in charge of the reapers answered and said, "It is the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the country of Moab." And she said, "Please let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves." So she came and has continued from morning until now, though she rested a little in the house. Boaz came in quietly. No trumpet, no chariot, just dust on his boots and authority in his silence. His land stretched wide, golden beneath the sun, and today it carried whispers. "The Lord be with you," he said to the reapers. "The Lord bless you," they replied in unison, almost rehearsed. But Boaz's eyes didn't linger on their faces. He was looking past them. Something unfamiliar had entered the rhythm of his land. A movement he didn't recognize. A presence he hadn't planted. "Whose young woman is this?" he asked the foreman, though the question carried weight beyond curiosity. The overseer turned, nodding toward the far edge of the field. "She's the Moabitess, the one who came back with Naomi from Moab. She asked to glean behind the harvesters. Came early, has barely rested." Boaz watched her then, from a distance, not as a man amused, not as a man intrigued, but as a man alerted. Ruth didn't look up. She gleaned as if the soil had secrets she was determined to collect. Boaz said nothing yet, but heaven had already begun to turn. Ruth, chapter 2, verses 8 to 9. A. So Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go and glean in another field, and don't go away from here. Stay here with the women who work for me." The field held its breath. Boaz stepped forward, no longer the distant landowner, but now a man drawn to something or someone. The reapers faded into the background. All that remained was the foreign woman who knelt among the stalks, humble, diligent, unnoticed by most, but not by him. "Listen carefully," Boaz said, his voice firm yet strangely kind. "Don't go glean in another field. Stay here with my servant girls. Watch where they harvest and go after them. I've ordered the men not to touch you." Ruth paused, stunned. This was more than kindness. It was protection, provision, unspoken respect. "And when you're thirsty," Boaz added, Go to the jars and drink what the men have drawn." It was unthinkable. A Moabite woman, allowed to drink from Israelite jars. Ruth fell to her knees, her voice breaking. "Why have I found favor in your eyes when I am only a foreigner?" Boaz's gaze never wavered. "I've heard everything. How you left your land, your family, to care for Naomi. May the Lord reward you. May you be richly repaid by the God of Israel, under whose wings you've come to take refuge." And in that moment, under the golden sky, a blessing passed between them, soft, unspoken, but eternal. Ruth, chapter 2, verses 14 to 17. At mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Come over here, have some bread and dip it in the wine vinegar." When she sat down with the harvesters, he offered her some roasted grain. She ate all she wanted and had some left over. As she got up to glean, Boaz gave orders to his men. "Let her gather among the sheaves and don't reprimand her. Even pull out some stalks for her from the bundles and leave them for her to pick up, and don't rebuke her." So Ruth gleaned in the field until evening. Then she threshed the barley she had gathered, and it amounted to about an ephah. Noon fell quietly over the fields, and Boaz called out once more, not as a master, but as a host. "Come and eat," he said. Ruth stepped forward slowly, unsure if the invitation was meant for her. But there he stood, breaking bread and offering roasted grain. She ate until she was full, and still she had leftovers. When the meal was done, Boaz issued another quiet command, not to Ruth, but to his men. "Let her glean even among the sheaves. Do not embarrass her. And pull out some stalks on purpose. Leave them for her to gather. Don't rebuke her." So she gleaned until the evening, quiet, faithful. And when she beat out the barley she'd gathered, it was an ephah, more than enough for one day. In the shadows of sorrow, God had arranged a provision Ruth didn't ask for, but desperately needed. Ruth, chapter 2, verse 18. She carried it back to town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. The sun had lowered, but the weight she carried rose. Her hands were full, but her heart even fuller. Ruth returned to Naomi, not just with food, but with a field's worth of favor. The woman who left with nothing returned with more than provision. She carried a silent message from heaven. "You have not been forgotten." Naomi looked at the grain. Her eyes welled, not because of the ephah, but because favor had followed them home. But the story is not over, because while Ruth slept that night, Naomi began to plan. And soon, the field would give way to the threshing floor, where redemption would come and love would begin to rise. Ruth, Part 3. The threshing floor, coming soon.